There's something undeniably captivating about Alocasia plants, often referred to as the elephant ear, due to their impressively large, heart-shaped leaves. These exotic beauties are not just a staple for plant enthusiasts. They bring a touch of tropical flair into any space. Whether you're a seasoned plant lover or a beginner just getting your hands dirty in the world of indoor gardening, caring for an Alocasia can feel like a journey. It's a rewarding one, though, as these plants flourish with the right conditions, rewarding you with lush, stunning foliage that can instantly elevate any room. Alocasia plants are native to the tropical rainforests of Southeast Asia, where the humidity and warmth are ideal for their growth. In your home, however, replicating these conditions can be a bit tricky. But don't worry, by the end of this guide, you'll have a solid understanding of how to care for your Alocasia, ensuring it remains healthy and vibrant year-round. From proper watering techniques to light requirements, humidity, and pest control, we'll cover it all. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to keeping your elephant ear plant thriving. 1. Understanding your Alocasia. The basics. Before we get into the specifics of care, it's important to understand the basics of your Alocasia plant. Alocasia is part of the Araceae family, which includes other well-known plants like philodendrons and anthuriums. There are more than 70 species of Alocasia, with some of the most popular varieties being Alocasia amazonica, Alocasia zebrina, and Alocasia macrorrhizia. These plants are prized for their stunning, often glossy leaves that can range from deep green to vibrant, almost metallic hues. Some Alocasia varieties even have unique veining that makes their foliage look like an intricate piece of art. While they're primarily grown for their aesthetic appeal, they also have fascinating growth habits. Alocasia plants grow from rhizomes, which means they have underground stems that store nutrients and energy, helping them survive in varying conditions. However, this beauty comes with a bit of complexity. Alocasias can be somewhat finicky, and they tend to let you know when something isn't right. Yellowing leaves, drooping stems, or stunted growth can all be indicators that your plant needs a change in its environment. So, while it's not the easiest plant to care for, once you understand its needs, you'll find the process much more manageable. 2. Light requirements. Finding the perfect balance. One of the most important factors for keeping your Alocasia happy is getting the light just right. These plants naturally grow under the canopy of taller trees in their native rainforest habitat, where they receive dappled sunlight. In your home, it's best to replicate this environment by placing your Alocasia in bright, indirect light. A spot near an east or north-facing window is usually ideal, as this will give your plant the light it needs without subjecting it to the harsh, direct rays that can scorch its delicate leaves. Direct sunlight can cause the leaves to burn, turning them yellow or brown, so it's crucial to avoid placing your Alocasia in a spot where it will get too much sun. On the other hand, too little light will result in slow growth, and your plant may begin to lose some of its vibrant coloration. If your home doesn't get enough natural light, consider using a grow light to supplement. Just make sure the light isn't too intense, as Alocasia plants can be sensitive to overexposure. If you're wondering how to tell if your plant is getting the right amount of light, pay close attention to its leaves. Are they stretching or leaning towards the light source? That's a sign your plant is not getting enough light. Adjust its placement accordingly, but be patient. Alocasia plants can take some time to respond to changes in their environment. 3. Watering your Alocasia. Avoiding common pitfalls. When it comes to watering, Alocasia plants are somewhat particular. They thrive in consistently moist soil but don't like to be waterlogged. One of the most common mistakes people make is either overwatering or underwatering their plant, both of which can lead to root rot or a stressed plant. The key is to keep the soil evenly moist but not soggy. During the growing season, which typically runs from spring through summer, Alocasia plants will require more frequent watering. Depending on the conditions in your home, this could mean watering your plant once or twice a week. Always check the top inch or so of soil before watering. If it feels dry to the touch, it's time to water. However, if the soil still feels moist, hold off for a few more days. During the fall and winter months, when the plant's growth slows down, you can reduce the frequency of watering. Alocasia plants enter a semi-dormant state during the colder months, and they won't need as much water. In fact, overwatering during this period can be especially detrimental, as the plant isn't actively using as much water, and excess moisture can lead to root rot. Another important tip is to use room temperature water, as Alocasia plants don't appreciate cold water. If possible, let your water sit out for a few hours to dechlorinate before watering your plant. Tap water that's too cold can shock the plant, while water that's too hot can damage the roots. 4. Humidity. Emulating the tropics. If there's one thing Alocasia plants love, it's humidity. These plants are native to tropical regions, where the air is naturally humid. In a typical household, especially during the colder months when indoor heating dries out the air, your Alocasia may struggle if the humidity levels are too low. Ideally, you want to keep the humidity levels around your Alocasia at 60% or higher. You can achieve this in several ways. One of the easiest methods is to use a humidity tray. Simply place a shallow dish filled with water and pebbles underneath your plant's pot. As the water evaporates, it will create a more humid microenvironment around your plant. Another option is to mist your Alocasia regularly. However, keep in mind that while misting can temporarily raise the humidity levels, it won't sustain the high levels that Alocasias prefer over time. For more consistent humidity, investing in a small humidifier can make a big difference, especially if you live in a dry climate. Grouping your Alocasia with other plants is another clever trick to increase humidity. As plants naturally release moisture through a process called transpiration, grouping them together can create a more humid environment. Just be careful not to overcrowd them, as good airflow is also important to prevent issues like mold and mildew. If your Alocasia starts showing signs of low humidity, such as browning leaf edges or crispy tips, it's a clear sign that it needs more moisture in the air. On the flip side, if the leaves are excessively wet or soggy, that might indicate that the humidity levels are too high or that there's poor air circulation. 5. Soil. Choosing the right mix. When it comes to soil, Alocasia plants prefer a well-draining mix that retains some moisture but doesn't become overly compacted. A high-quality potting mix with good aeration is essential. You can create the perfect mix by combining standard potting soil with materials like perlite, peat moss, or orchid bark. This will provide the ideal balance between moisture retention and drainage, ensuring that your Alocasia's roots stay healthy. If the soil is too dense or holds onto water for too long, it can lead to root rot, a common problem with Alocasia plants. On the other hand, if the soil dries out too quickly, your plant won't be able to access the moisture it needs to thrive. The goal is to find a mix that holds moisture without staying soggy for extended periods. Conclusion: the reward of caring for Alocasia. Caring for an Alocasia plant can be a deeply rewarding experience. While these plants can be a bit finicky, their stunning foliage and bold presence make the extra effort well worth it. By understanding their needs for light, water, humidity, and nutrients, you can help your elephantia plant thrive for years to come. Remember, patience is key. Alocasia plants may take time to adjust to their environment, but once they do, they'll reward you with lush, vibrant growth. Whether you're a seasoned plant enthusiast or a beginner, following these care tips will set you on the path to success. Enjoy your journey with your Alocasia, and watch as it transforms your space into a tropical paradise.